Okay, so last week we talked about find your flow and implementation, find your joy in flow of implementation, observe, calibrate, and experience your conscious flow state. We talked about activity and rest and finding the balances of that, a flow state presence where there's a sense of ease. And then we're going to take this a little bit step further tonight in terms of expanding an awareness of the flow state. So in our flow states, we're not meant actually to have totally everything easy and comfortable. And if we're, especially if we're learning a new skill, there'll be challenges that will push us past our, you could say, our comfort zone. But as long as it doesn't throw us way out over here, that we can actually appreciate the challenges we have. And that relates to skills. Again, developing skills, whether we're learning an instrument or we're learning something we're interested in refining, it takes challenge there. Here's Anne Marie. This Robert, you took care of that. Sharon's coming along here. So challenge and skill. So again, we're expanding our awareness. Welcome, folks, who are Sharon and Anne Marie. Just dive right in here. Challenge and skill. So we want to see, again, if we're overamping with that challenge, but we want to be moving past, our comfort zone. And then seeing how we can temper back, but at the same time, like challenging that zone there. And then it allows us to need, if we have a challenge and it's pushing us, say, overamping, we recognize there's a need to increase our skill relative to that challenge. So just follow along here. And then it's, again, it's like we're tuning a guitar string. We're tuning our nervous system to actually begin to calibrate what it takes to learn a skill and learn how to stay in a flow state presence, pressing, you can say pressing the limits of it. And then if we're underamped, we want to see how we can temper back. And if we're underamped, we may not be having enough challenge. Then we need to increase our challenge. Sometimes we might do something over and over and over again, and then it becomes rote, and then they call it phoning it in, where you have something to actually enact, but you're phoning it in, you're not really there. So something I take note of for each of these sessions, and actually each time I see a patient for the next time, even though I've seen patients for the past 40 years, and probably thousands of patients there, that's always see how I can increase my refinement with each patient that I see. I'm sure yourself, you can consider things for yourself in that way. Okay, so it all comes back again to the compass in our heart, how we're navigating through our flow state and increasing our challenges and refining our skills. And so finding your joy in flow with others, again, playing music, having harmony with others, within yourself, with others, and then finding the tone of joy, and having a life of significance. But then all along, we're talking about peace, harmony, and joy. There's such a vital necessity of increasing our peace, harmony, and joy skills and meeting the challenges of this day. Wouldn't you agree with that? The challenges are so specific now, and we had a little banter back and forth a little bit, begin with our for folks that were here, in terms of, there's challenges to take care of consciously, the things that may challenge us and may irk us. But how do we increase our skills so that we're continually in place so we're not thrown off base there? So recognize what it takes to learn, correct, refine for continual movement forward for an increasing peace, harmony, and joy experience. So again, I wanted to expand a little bit more take of what we looked at last week, and today adding a little bit more in terms of, at times we need to push ourselves beyond our comfort zone, but not overamping ourselves, but finding that balance point, and then increasing our skills as needed to meet the challenges at hand. So let's reflect on this. It takes practice, learning, correction, refinement for continual movement forward for an increasing peace, harmony, and joy experience. Okay, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. So what specific practices or habits could you adopt or refine to continually increase your peace, harmony, and joy experience and achieve more consistent flow states? Let me just read that slowly again. You can take it in yourself. What specific practices or habits could you adopt or refine to continually increase your peace, harmony, and joy experience and achieve more consistent flow states? So if you have a piece of paper and something to write with, it's always helpful to be able to write your thoughts because it helps to canonize actually brain processes to go a little deeper with it. And then to go deeper with it, considering this regarding skill, to avoid being overamped or anxious. So regarding skills of practices to develop, and then regarding challenge, to avoid being underamped, bored. So like meeting, raising yourself up to meet a challenge. There are skills in that respect. So hopefully that's clear enough. Let's take a moment or so and just reflect on that question for yourself.